Senator Minor, the floor is yours, sir.
Oh, boy. First of all, I want to thank all of you for your gracious comments, and here we go.
All right. What's the record for amendments?
Nice. Joe, I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you.
I knew you were going to be trouble. I just wasn't sure when. So I do want to thank each and every one of you for your kind comments. I want to thank you for your camaraderie over my time here, not only in the Senate, but also in the House. I can tell you that there were very, very few occasions I can recall where I didn't feel there was an opportunity to share what I had to say, and whether I was in the House or in the Senate, I always felt welcome. And that was something that I think helped me learn about this place long before I got here, but also helped me learn about the state of Connecticut. I think there was always a joke that I needed to remember, and that was that how did it go? The Democrats were the opposition and the Senate Republicans were the enemy. So if you were in the House, it was the Senate Republicans that were the enemy. And I don't know if the Democrats have that same level of humor as we had, but I never forgot it. It's truly been a privilege, and I think each and every one of you understand when I say that to be elected is one thing, but to get a chance to serve and try and deliver a message on behalf of your constituents, those that you might personally agree with and those that you may not agree with. It really is a privilege. It's a lot of responsibility. And I can only hope that the people think I lived up to that responsibility. 1818 was quite a year, quite a term. I would say it was a term that the minority may not have been fully prepared for, and without a doubt, the majority wasn't prepared for it either. And as Senator Austin said, it really did provide an opportunity to learn about the process in a way that very, very, very few legislators get a chance to learn about it. And so as someone who has served in the minority for the majority of my time here in the legislature, to be an equal at some level was really not only fun, but it really was a burden. It was a lot of responsibility. Our responsibility to co-chair, our responsibility to know more about the subject matter, our responsibility to take those issues back to our own caucuses and try and get an understanding. And when I remember driving back from North Carolina, Len Fasano saying, I need you to go up to Hartford, and it was, I think, a 12-hour ride, and I said, what time tomorrow? And he said, no, tonight. I remember at the end of that session, sitting downstairs outside the House and watching the press grapple with the enormity that the House and the Senate, Republicans and Democrats, had come up with a budget that was mutually acceptable. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't what either side had wanted when we first went into it, but it really did put the state of Connecticut on a road to what I think most of us considered to be a good road, and in some cases maybe even a road of recovery. So 1818, if you ever get a chance to do that again, try and be prepared. And lastly, I have tried not to appear to be uncomfortable or flummoxed, but I got to tell you, this is the most uncomfortable day in all of my time in the legislature. It is humbling. It is, again, I think, enormous responsibility for a lot of reasons, but for me, having the last word is something that I don't want to take advantage of. But I've got to say maybe just one thing. I don't think COVID has been a friend to this process. I don't think it has been something that any of us could have been prepared for. But the longer this process operates from a distance, I get worried. I honestly get worried. there's a certain interaction that occurs when we get to see each other. As Senator Winfield said, I can almost remember the nights when we leaned against the railing and we may have not talked at all about subject matter. It may have been family. It may have been what happened in the neighborhood. It may have been any number of things. But somehow, you got to get back there. If I could ask you for one thing, get back there. Because the public has a right to be in this building and in the legislative office building. And there's nothing that will bring better outcome out of the legislative process, I think, than getting the public back in. So again, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the honor that you've given me today. And I do consider us friends.